Amber Heard has to be very careful writing her tell-all book. Hi, I'm your host Bridget Shields, and let's get into today's story. Amber Heard is reportedly in talks to write a tell-all book now that she apparently has nothing to lose in the aftermath of ex-husband Johnny Depp's defamation lawsuit. The Aquaman actress is set to release what is being called a revenge book after she drew the short straw in her legal battle with Depp. This last-ditch effort at making a little bit of money from the defamation case does make sense for her, as the verdict was devastating to her credibility and reputation in Hollywood. I mean, the jurors essentially found that Heard was not believable in any capacity and rejected her testimony in its entirety. In fact, one juror even took to social media just to say that she was not believable when she cried on the witness stand. Clearly, there's no coming back from that. An inside source close to the actress told OK Magazine, quote, "Amber considers her career in Hollywood over, and when being asked about the book, quote, she's already in talks and is excited about it," also adding that at this point she literally has nothing to lose, insinuating that releasing the book would be a much needed money grab for her, as she no longer has a reputation to worry about damaging, because according to the insider, she's broke and not in a position to turn down money. It's well known that Heard owes Depp a whopping $10 million, which she can't just wipe away by declaring bankruptcy, leaving many people to wonder just how it is that she plans to come up with the money. But it turns out that the 36-year-old may have something to lose when it comes to the potential lawsuits the book could spark. Despite reports of her writing the tell-all, Heard told Savannah Guthrie in her post-trial NBC interview that she was terrified that Depp might sue her again. Dror Bickel, an award-winning divorce trial lawyer, told the magazine that Depp and his attorneys will be reading and listening to everything that Heard states. Quote, "If she crosses the line, which is likely, there is no question that she will be hit with another defamation suit and end up right back in court." He also said that Heard needs to be extremely careful of what she says about her ex after the way the trial turned out. The legal expert believes that she needs to tread very carefully when writing her book in terms of what she says about him, as Depp and his attorneys will be reading every page. And if she crosses the line, which is totally plausible, there is no question that she'll be hit with another defamation suit and end up right back in court. After the trial ended, the actress said that she has a binder packed with notes from her therapist, which she claims contains new evidence proving her allegations of domestic violence, despite the judge completely dismissing the documents in the US trial. She went on to tell Guthrie, quote, "Of course, I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak. I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say, or how I say it, every step that I take will present another opportunity for this sort of silencing," which is what, I guess, a defamation lawsuit is meant to do. That's an interesting choice of words, but it was a good way to set the premise for her tell-all book. That's good marketing. Do you think she's out for revenge, or just wants another chance to tell her side of the story?
Oh, Amber, whatever happened to wanting this to be over? Well, I've gathered up some thoughts for you all, and this is why a tell-all could make Amber Heard look worse. I'm Melissa Melotti, your host, and let's jump right into it. First off, she was already proven wrong. Not only did she lose the case, but she also lost with the public. Millions around the world watched the trial, like millions. The final day where the verdict was read had more than 2 million people watching. It was insane. People watched this trial from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, and they watched all of the witnesses' testimonials. They gathered all of the evidence, and I'm going to say that out of all the people that actually watched the full trial and can have an educated opinion on the trial, at least 99%, maybe even 100% agree that she was most likely lying at many times, and many think that she was even possibly the aggressor in this relationship. At least that's what I've heard quite frequently. Literally, seemingly everyone I talked to that is slightly wavering on this either A, didn't watch the trial fully, or B, has seen too many clips from other people that haven't watched the trial fully and are wavering. But in any case, a large amount of people did, and a large amount of people came together to support Johnny, which means a large amount of people will be angry about the release of this book. If she doesn't take accountability, oh boy. People are frustrated with her already for not taking accountability. She'll say things like, "Of course I did some things wrong, I am not perfect," but then she'll finish the sentence saying something positive about herself. Or she won't specifically say, "I shouldn't have slapped him," for example. Specifically, she has not owned up to anything. If she now writes a book and doesn't once take specific accountability, people will be even more mad with her. Other celebs have tried this. There have been other celebs that have tried this route to save face, and it was a disaster for them. Like the infamous sister of Britney Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears. After the epic tweet and Instagram battles with her sister, Jamie Lynn released a book posing it as that she was just wanting to tell her story. But it absolutely backfired, with people calling her out on her supposed lies. Former cast members of Zoe 101 called out Jamie for quote-unquote bullying, as well as Britney herself addressed a number of alleged lies in this book. So yeah, it made everything worse. No solid evidence to support her. More and more evidence that continues to make her look bad instead of supporting her case continues to be released, such as Amber making out with what looks like Cara Delevingne. Honestly, here's some tea. I auditioned with Cara for Suicide Squad back in 2015, and she was not wearing any makeup and her hair was up just like it was in that camera footage, and she kind of looked exactly like that, so I'm convinced that it's 100% her, but it hasn't been confirmed. Anyways, my point is that Amber has alleged that she has a lot of evidence that didn't make it into trial, so if she releases that book and there's just a bunch of hearsay and not solid evidence that proves her case, it really won't do her any favors. People will see this as a cash grab. People will absolutely think that this is a way for her to capitalize on all of the attention of the moment, and they will see it as a cash grab. However, though, it might be a good way for her to make the millions that she has to pay Johnny back. So on second thought, maybe we should support the book. Watch, she's gonna put that in her marketing strategy. "Hey guys, so I need to make the money to pay Jay back, so buy this book to really just support him." Should I be working in PR? I think so. Another opportunity for the internet to create more memes. The internet trolls are passionate about not believing her and continue to be pretty cruel, which I personally don't agree with. She digs her own graves. No need to try to psychologically put her in one with your mean words. But by releasing this book and making herself vulnerable to the trolls again, she's bound to get a whole new slew of poop memes. They may lose it with this book. The ratings could be telling. I don't think this will happen because people are curious, and I bet you regardless of everything, people will still buy her book wanting to know what she has to say. But in the odd chance that people really do decide to boycott the book and the sales and ratings are really low, that will not be a good look for her and could just make her seem even worse. Always contradicting herself. She's not a victim, and yet she is a victim. While on the stand, Amber got really mad at Camille Vasquez when Camille insinuated that Amber thought herself to be a victim. She said to Camille, "I have never claimed to be a victim." And yet, in her most recent Dateline interview with Savannah Guthrie, she said, "Maybe I'm not the right kind of victim." So do you think yourself to be a victim or not? She just keeps eating her own words and contradicting herself, and it's just not a good look. She has said, "I just want this trial to be done. I just want to move on with my life." But what does she do when the trial finishes? She goes on a press tour. Actions speak louder than words. Her interview did not go as planned. Her most recent interview actually exploded in her face with Savannah Guthrie. The ratings were allegedly very bad, and the internet has been in an uproar over it. Savannah even called her out a number of times, including when she once again tried to make the argument that donated and pledged are synonymous with each other. Her PR team has not helped her so far. Her words have backfired on her so far. So maybe a book is not a good idea. Hollywood may continue to not employ her. The Hollywood elite that were interviewed in the trial, such as Johnny's former agent, mentioned that having any press like this is just damaging to the career of an actor, and as long as the actor keeps quiet, generally the career may eventually bounce back. Just don't give any energy to the scandals. He said specifically that continuing to speak about scandals in the press and engaging in lawsuits is just not good for the actor. If she continues to feed this beast, it may be the reason she truly never works again. Because honestly, I can see people maybe hiring her in the future after they've gotten over this, but definitely not if she continues to keep this going. So final thoughts. maybe let the dust settle, Amber. Don't dig yourself into any more holes with this because a tell-all could really just make everything so much worse. We live in a world that makes it impossible to lie with the internet detectives always on the case. So you most likely will not be able to talk yourself out of this one unless you own up to every lie the internet has caught so far. That may help, but probably better to just let this be. Don't give this any more energy, but hey, that's just what I would do at least.
Number 10, it's a cash grab. This book could be seen as, and according to an inside source, is a cash grab. Now, in a capitalist society, I can't say I blame the actress for taking advantage of her less than desirable position. A source close to the 36-year-old said she is broke and not in a position to turn down money. So, taking into account she is on the hook for more than $8 million from the trial with her ex-husband, which is an amount Heard's attorneys say that she cannot pay, the reports that Heard has signed a multi-million-dollar deal to write a book is very clearly an attempt to make some kind of money to help with that. Knowing that, it begs the question, how well will it actually sell? And the other question is just who will buy it? Number 9. Boycott. Probably one of the biggest reasons this book is not going to go too great, at least sales wise, is the fact that Amber's public opinion is also not the greatest. But things could go either way. There are definitely people that will want to know all the juicy details. And I know for a fact there are those that think that the whole book deal is hilarious and will just buy it to make fun of it. So those are some sales for the book, but wholly for the wrong reasons. On the other hand, there are people who are likely to boycott her and her book completely for the allegations, the apparent lies, and likely because of the fact that the book is a desperate money grab. Number 8. Bad timing. Striking while the metal is still hot is likely to send sparks flying. And at this point in her life, with all the negative press, minimal support, and lack of foundation to stand on, it just may not be the prime opportunity to be making this move. You know when you would get a cut when you were a kid and your parents told you not to pick at the scab because you'll just make it worse or turn it into a scar or whatever? This is like that. Just leave it alone and let this whole situation heal, please. Number 7. What's the point? Apparently, Amber's main goal, other than to help pay her ex-husband, is to be seen as a human being again after the internet ripped her apart. Now, Amber Heard had all the opportunity in the world to say every fact that she could during her trial. If there are any details left out of the trial that make it into this book, then first of all, what difference is it really gonna make for her if it wouldn't even matter in the highly public courtroom? And secondly, it really begs the question, assuming something new is there, why was this not brought up before? Which for some would equate to either the contents of the book being a lie, or she didn't or doesn't have the evidence to back it up. Her and Johnny's married life was ripped open for the world to come and take a look. If there was some kind of extraneous detail that could have convinced the public or a jury of her innocence, then it should have come up during the trial, not in a tell-all revenge book. Number 6. Best to just move on. Amber said to Dateline, "I know the scariest, most intimidating thing for anybody talking about sexual violence is not being believed, being called a liar, or being humiliated. I look forward to living my life, and I have a long one, I hope, in front of me. And I will continue to walk through this with my chin up." That would be a great outlook to have. Take your L and try and move on. But writing a tell-all book of the intimate details of her life, details that were already streamed out to the world through the internet, isn't really doing that. She claimed she wanted to move on from the messy saga, but she is continuing to repeat her allegations of abuse against Depp, which could make things even more messy. Number 5. Affecting the fam. Not just her direct family, but anyone who Amber Heard may end up mentioning in her tell-all could come under fire. We have heard that Amber isn't exactly the best to people she loves and cares about, but I can imagine the trial itself and all the accusations and drama surrounding her that have made an impact on Amber's family, friends, and supporters can't sit too well with her. Her sister, Elon Musk, Cara Delevingne, Ellen Birkin, James Franco, even survivors of domestics. All these people and more have had some kind of effect from the trial itself. If Amber's tell-all book ends up mentioning any or all of these people and is in fact a disaster, it will only add insult to injury. Number 4. Dig in your grave even deeper. Amber already considers her Hollywood career done, and that is a fair thing to assume, for now. The problem is that many celebrities involved in controversy of this kind are still working in the industry, albeit with less of the hard-hitting celebrity star power they had before. Their reputations are not spotless, and now Amber can count herself among them. If she was to stop and try and work for a better reputation, that has nothing to do with Johnny Depp or this case. She does not have many supporters, but the few that she does have are likely to support her in any work she does actually end up getting. Now, it may take years for her to be able to consistently work again, but writing a book about the case that has completely destroyed her career and reputation already, and going further down that rabbit hole will just make that dry period that much longer. Number 3. Nothing to lose. The Amber Insider, mentioned in the 10th point, has said that Amber thinks her career in Hollywood is over, and is penning the memoir as she feels she has quote-unquote nothing to lose. Now that may not be the case. In fact, she could be creating more for herself to lose. Dror Bickle, an attorney and author of The 1% Divorce When Titans Clash, told OK that the actress may be opening herself to face some more potential lawsuits the book can spark, saying, quote, "Depp and his attorneys will be reading and listening to everything that Heard states. If she crosses the line, which is likely, there is no question that she will be hit with another defamation suit and end up right back in the court, which supposedly is not what she wants." But it also leads to another interesting point. Number 2. Inadvertent incrimination. Even with help and suggestion from a lawyer, it is entirely possible that Amber Heard could say something that could actually be used against her as evidence if another trial were to take place. Like, for example, during the infamous trial, she accidentally revealed that she did write the op-ed that led to the trial in the first place. It reminds us a little bit of Jamie Lynn Spears releasing her tell-all book. She got caught up in more lies and controversy because of said book that had the intention of clearing the air. I feel like if Amber releases this book, the exact same thing is gonna happen again. Sure, she needs the money, but maybe simmer down there, chief, until the air has cooled. Or, I don't know, maybe just stop altogether and move on with your life as best as you can, please. And number 1, scissors for hands, stepped on a bee, and all that other stuff. Now, I know the things the internet says about someone should never be taken too seriously or as like gospel truth, but the internet's backlash to this publicly streamed trial has been undeniably pretty harsh. No one except those involved know the full true details of this case, but memes and jokes and threats and all sorts of ridiculously inappropriate things have been said about the situation. Now, I'm not really a fan of the actress, and quite frankly, my opinion doesn't matter, nor is it anyone's business, but what I will say is that people on the internet who don't know for sure, making vicious fun of someone recounting a story of domestic violence that could potentially be real, no matter who it is a bit ridiculous. That being said, putting more things out into the public for people to scrutinize and make fun of is only gonna make Amber Heard's public situation that much worse. During the trial, Amber said, "The harassment and the humiliation, the campaign against me that's echoed every single day on social media, and now in front of cameras in the showroom, perhaps it's easy to forget that I'm a human being." It is easy to forget that, and that's why feeding fuel to the toxic dumpster fire that is the internet is not a smart move. What do you guys think? Will you be picking up the book if it does come to be? Let us know in the comments.